Continuing our coverage now on the $53 million granted from the New Hanover Community Endowment to 33 local nonprofits.
The money is coming from the more than $1.2 billion the county made from the sale of New Hanover Regional Medical Center to Novant Health. The community endowment is the caretaker of that money. I talked with the president of the endowment about how the money, which is technically your money, was divvied up. Take a look. Over 200 nonprofits in New Hanover County applied to the New Hanover Community Endowment Board for grant money. $53 million up for grabs. Getting almost half of that, UNCW and Cape Fear Community College. William Buster, president of the endowment, explained why the two educational institutions, which already get significant funding from the state, received the biggest piece of the pie.
What we're supporting is expansion of more students. There's additional resources for after-school care for children, healthcare access, rental assistance for students. None of those things the state will provide. And in the case of the university, we're providing additional dollars for scholarships.
Buster says the focus in this cycle of grants was on education and health. Other recipients included communities and schools, Glow Academy, and Med North.
We had 170 great opportunities that we didn't support. The way we look at those is that those are the conversations that we begin with next year.
This is the second cycle of funding. Last year, $9 million was given out to 110 nonprofits. Buster says the plan is to roll out funding more frequently.
My intention is to stop having large one-time announcements. I want to get into a sequence of having grants roll out as much as we can every quarter, every month if we can.
As for how his office will make sure the money is being spent the way it is intended,
we have monthly check-ins with all these organizations, especially for this round. We have milestones that they have to meet every quarter. We tie milestones to payments.
He says the contracts clearly state if guidelines are not followed, the endowment has the right to withdraw funding. Buster says the organizations that did not receive funding this time should know it could happen in the near future.
The money is not running out. We're here. The way we're doing it allows for us to be in perpetuity. Unless it was completely outside the realm of what we should be doing, I believe that every proposal that came that we thought had merit could ultimately get supported at the right time. And so no means not yet for us.
Now, Buster says they'll cut the checks, if you will, December 31st and work on the next phase of funding at the start of the new year.
Well, there was a lot of pushback against the sale of the hospital, Fran. We both covered it. So is Mr. Buster concerned that maybe the criticism about the sale is going to turn into more criticism about how the public's money is being spent here?
Well, he was not here during all of that.
Right.
You know, those in favor, those against. He was not here. So he basically started with a clean slate. And he feels good about that. He has heard about the pros and cons of selling the hospital, but he says he came here because he saw a great opportunity to improve lives with this endowment. And keep in mind, $53 million is only 4% of that $1.2 billion. Right. So there will be a lot more funding down the road, and he feels good about it.
And the key thing you said is those that didn't get anything in this round, he says, to use a phrase in the business, stay tuned, because they're the ones who are going to start talking about first January of 2024.
Well, you know, talking with him, he seems to be very upfront and honest, and he said those organizations that did not get a yes this time have to be patient. It will happen down the road.
Okay.